Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to episode 3 in my chopping block series. I believe this series was started by Andrea Mattiliano, so I will leave her channel as well as her series linked down below. But I know a ton of other creators now do series like this, so I'll leave all of the similar style videos that I can find linked down below for you guys as well, in case you do enjoy this style of video and want to watch more. But if you're interested in seeing some of the products that are currently in my collection that I can't decide whether or not they still have a place or not, or whether it's time to part ways and declutter, then stay tuned. But first, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you go. I post videos every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So like I said in the introduction, I have done 2 other videos similar to this, but I still have products in my collection that I'm just not reaching for and not sure whether or not I want to keep them in my collection. But I always like to give things a fair shot before I officially declutter them, because I personally am kind of a hoarder and really struggle at getting rid of things. So sometimes when I use them consistently and then realize I just don't really like the product, then it's easier for me to let go. So starting out with primer, I don't really have a primer necessarily, but I do have the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. Mine's in the shade 902, and this just honestly feels like an extra step to me. It's just like a luminizing lotion. It gives me kind of an artificial sort of vibe, and it's just a little bit too dark for me as well. But we are reaching the spring summer months where I do like to have a little bit more glowy skin, so I definitely want to give this a few more tries before I decide whether or not I want to officially declutter. I do have one foundation. I recently mentioned this in my ranking my entire foundation collection. It's the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation, and I know this is an unpopular opinion because basically every review that I've seen has been positive about this, but for me personally, I just do not like the way that this foundation looks on my skin. However, whenever I wear this foundation, everyone seems to compliment me on my makeup, so I'm kind of in a predicament with that. I'm gonna give this a couple more tries, but if I personally don't like the way that my skin looks when I'm wearing this, then there's no point in me keeping it. I don't have a concealer or a powder that I'm currently trying to decide about, but I do have 2 bronzers to mention. The first is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer, and I believe I may have used this or mentioned this in a full face of products I'm considering decluttering, which I will link in the cards up here, I think it is. And now, again, it's in my chopping block, so this probably doesn't need to stick around, but I'm gonna give it one last try. And then I also have my ABH bronzer in the shade Tawny. Now, this used to be a product that I really enjoyed, but I'm just not finding myself reaching for this, so I want to use it pretty consistently for a couple weeks and decide whether or not I still do like it and I want to keep it in my collection, or if I just love my other bronzers that are my favorites more than this one, and in that case, I will part ways. I only have one blush that I'm including, and I'm honestly thinking this is definitely going to be a declutter. This is the e.l.f. cream blush in the shade Soft Rose, and this honestly I just don't love the way that the formula feels. It barely shows up on the skin. I've never used this, so that's why I'm including this in this chopping block, because I want to at least give it a chance before I declutter. But I don't think this is going to stick around. For highlights, I have the Master Chrome highlight, the molten gold one from Maybelline. This I think is just too dark for my skin. I do like the highlight, but I just don't find that this shade works the best for me. Yeah, even swatching it, I'm I don't think so. But I'm gonna give it a few more tries. Even with tan skin, I just don't think that this is going to work. And I also have the Ofra X Nikki highlight. This is the one that has 3 different options. I feel like I have enough Ofra highlights currently in my collection that I don't need to keep this one. But I've only used it a couple times, and I want to make sure my decision is final before I decide to get rid of this. And then I also have this highlighting palette from Bella Pierre Cosmetics. This is the Glowing palette, and I've never used this. I got this in some sort of subscription box, but I do again want to give it a chance and see if it's any good before I decide I'm officially decluttering, but I don't see this one sticking around either. I have a few eye products. First, I have a MAC paint pot. This is in the shade Mooncake, and this is actually a shimmery, has a shimmery finish. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it swatched, but it has a shimmery finish. I just never reached for this, but I do like it. It's pretty, so I want to use this and decide, do I need to keep this? This is also really old, so I probably shouldn't keep it. But also from MAC, I have this loose pigment in the shade, I think it's called Naked, yes. And it's honestly just this shimmery satin, nude shade. I don't even know if it'll show up as anything on the eyes. I don't really care for pigments, but when I swatch it, again, I don't think you'd be able to see this swatched at all. When I swatch it, it looks really pretty, and I feel like this would be like a really nice no makeup item, but I just don't reach for pigments. So we're gonna see about this. And then I also have this shadow stick from DLS. It's a really pretty rose gold color. Hopefully you'll be able to see it swatched there, but I just never reach for shadow sticks, so I'm gonna give it a few tries, decide if it's worth keeping. And then finally, the last like eye type of product other than my palettes that I'm including is this MAC eyeliner in the shade Fascinating. It's just a pure white eyeliner, and honestly, when I'm going for like a white or really light eyeliner, I'm typically reaching for like a nude or a champagne, not like a stark white, because sometimes I just think the white can just be too much of a contrast. So I'm gonna give it a couple more tries. I honestly feel like this is drying out too, so I don't foresee this one sticking around, but we're still gonna give it a chance. For palettes, I recently mentioned this in a video that I was going to be including the She palette from ColourPop in my next chopping block series or chopping block episode, just because I am just not all that wowed by this palette anymore. I don't know if my formula has changed or like this is just going bad, but the shimmers are just kind of subpar in my opinion, which I used to really love them. And then the mattes at the top, I just don't find myself reaching for mattes like this. I don't do a whole lot of like red or pinky looks. So I don't know if I need this anymore, but I'm gonna give it one last try. And then I actually have a story about the other palette that I'm including. It is the Tartelette Toasted palette, and if you did watch my palette collection video, you wouldn't have seen this in there because I did declutter this last November or December, but because I had barely used it, I was going to sell it on my Poshmark, but it hasn't sold yet, so it's just been sitting in my like Poshmark pile. And I recently saw someone do a look with this, and it just like inspired me to pull this back out. Shame on me, but I'm going to give it another try and decide if I'm going to declutter it a second time around, or if it's like one of those products that I like made a bad decision decluttering. We shall see. And then I have 3 lip products that I'm including. The first is the Smashbox lipstick in the shade Mauve. This was in my 18 and 2018 project pan, and I just never really enjoyed this shade that much on me. It's a little bit more like cool toned, and I just never felt like it went with any of the like eye look. I just never felt like it was like there was a good moment to wear this. But I spent so much money on this, and this was one of my like this is one of my first high-end lipsticks that I purchased, so there's like kind of sentimental value to it, which is stupid to keep something around for that reason. We'll see. I probably won't even end up getting rid of that. Then from Cargo, I have this lip gloss. This is just, you won't even be able to see it swatched, but it's just like a champagne lip gloss with shimmer in it. I have so many glosses in my collection right now that I love. I feel like I don't need this, but I wanted to use it a few more times before I officially decided. And then finally from Hikari, I also have this lip gloss, which is a super pigmented lip gloss. This is in the shade Merlot, and it's a really pretty color, but I just feel like, I haven't ever used this, I just feel like it's not like a safe formula to use. Like I feel like it's going to transfer, like get on my teeth or whatever, but again, I want to give it a try before I officially declutter. But oftentimes when a lip gloss is this dark and pigmented, it just makes me a little skeptical. So after that, that is going to conclude all of the items that I am including in this round of my chopping block series. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below what items are currently on your chopping block. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you consider doing so before you go. And other than that, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!